You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
And welcome welcome to you. Welcome to you, Gaby. You finally made it to BGG Spring. It's nice to have you here.
Did you and Enrique record anything?
You know what? We were so busy entertaining and being entertained with other quote-unquote celebrities of the board gaming industry and really just enjoying ourselves. We did not have any time to produce literally any content, but something did happen that is groundbreaking, that has never happened. And I really wish Enrique was here because this would be very helpful, but instead he's wandering the halls buying more sake because he's now addicted to sake.
He is addicted. He's drinking from the bottle.
Yes, he's drinking from the bottle, rice wine. Enrique listened for the first time in 300 and some odd episodes to an episode of the Board Game Snob podcast.
Look at him.
Would you like to guess which one? Don't have to guess the number, just something that it was. All right, Bubba, if you had to guess the one episode that Enrique would say, let me listen to, as we were driving down here.
Really?
What do you think? What was the topic of it or the content of it, the game?
I'll be honest, I have no idea.
Bruno?
Is Jerry still alive?
No, he doesn't care. Oh, Bruno Baronet's here with us.
He is?
Bruno Baronet.
Baronet, like
we
the
really,
mayonnaise.
I don't know if we introduced everybody.
We didn't
No, we
introduce
did not.
I went right into it hard. I'm sorry.
I'm Gaby.
Gaby's here.
Bruno Baronet.
And Bubba.
And Enrique's in the back.
And Enrique's in the background.
Meeple Junkies.
Chilling out.
Maple Junkies. Bruno of the Maple Junkies.
Like the name.
I like that name. That sounds like a support group. It does a little bit. You got any more of that tan? Anyways,
so what
listen
episode?
to an episode. Gaby, would you like to?
I literally have no idea.
I have no idea.
Number one.
No, we were discussing RPGs, and he began waxing and waning about the time we played the Star Wars Imperial Assault RPG. And we got into a mild argument because I thought we recorded the first episode. We recorded our first session with Bubba, which we did not.
No, we did not.
We recorded the second and the third, which happens to be episode 22 and 32 for those that want to re-listen to it. So that's where the first episode that he listened to, episode 22. And I must say, that was a class. It was good. That was fire.
I'm still very saddened that I couldn't listen to the first episode.
I know. We will just have to remember
because that was the greatest one from my memory.
It was. But that's going to bring up a topic here in a moment. But that was a very classic episode that if you're into RPGs or if you're not into RPGs, if you're into listening to four idiots try to fight their way through something and learn about RPGs and try to play it for the first time, that episode, that was great. I'm not even tooting my own horn, but you were on fire on that episode too, by the way. I don't know what was going on. But anyways, that's what that happened. And then Tom Vassell, we had to eat with Tom Vassell briefly, and Roy Canaday. That's no big deal. No big deal. It's just kind of like when celebs get together, we network, we throw around ideas, shake hands, glad hand each other.
And what level of celebrity are you, by the way?
No, we're. What would be? It'd be like a.
It's like B-list.
You would be like a mid-tier, maybe low.
No,
like an
mid-tier.
like an M.
I think of myself as like one of those character actors that everybody recognizes but don't really remember their name.
Okay, so low mid-tier.
Okay, thank you
somewhere
for that.
around there.
Low tier.
Low mid-tier. There's three
upper, middle, low tier.
Eh.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's like that. Listen, you got to start somewhere. I'm just saying.
You guys have your own T-shirts. What are you talking about?
Well, everybody's got their own T-shirts. Red
I can get that done down at the corner store.
We also have
Texas.
SirMeeple.com.
Sir Meeple.
If we don't have at least some sales, Sir Meeple, Tim's going to kick us off. He's kicked off a lot of people from there.
He's getting serious.
He is merciless.
He's like, look, I'm tired of y'all not making me any money.
Yes. We need to help out Tim. Tim has bills. Either way. So that happened, and we played a bunch of games. We played a lot of games. Me and Enrique did. And then Bubba and Bruno and Gaby showed up, which has made this all the more so. And Gaby, we wish you well on healing from your head cold.
I had a head cold that knocked me down, and I was coughing furiously for the last 2 days.
That's why we invented cough drops.
I've been taking them. They don't work.
You've invented nothing.
As the
He meant
human
we,
race.
the
human
plural,
race.
the plural we as humans invented cough drops.
Okay, I don't think that. Okay, all right, whatever.
That's true. I mean, you can't deny that's wrong.
Well, I will say this, and I'll go on the record. Till this, but 30 moments ago, I have
30 moments.
Yeah, that's and specified.
How long is a moment?
Well,
It's like a parsec.
It could be. Parsec is not time. It's a measurement.
We
of
all know.
You don't know.
We all know.
I never had good vodka.
Oh my goodness.
But I did have good vodka just now. Iceberg vodka from Canada. They invented the best vodka, apparently, not the Russians or
No, it was good.
the French. French got some good gin.
Yeah.
Is that made from potatoes?
No, I don't know.
Mm,
They don't have potatoes in Canada.
Good question.
That is a good question.
Is it
I
made
thought.
from moose? What do y'all have that you're making vodka?
It's moose antlers.
So their claim is that they have the purest water,
That's the water.
and with that, how they distill it.
the clean cold water?
Iceberg water.
Yeah.
Just like on the Water Boy. This vodka always stays
Clean
cold.
water.
Water from the pre-industrial
Yeah.
revolution.
For that, I mean,
Yes.
You might
You
be
gotta think about
drinking
that.
like dinosaur
I mean, yeah.
molecules.
I don't know about-
Black
Probably.
tar oil reserves. I don't know, whatever that is. But anyways, a lot of things get invented. But I want to bring this up because this is something I see a lot of people doing, taking pictures and things of that nature to memorialize things. I was thinking about this as I was listening to the podcast and lamenting that we did not record the very first session that we had because we all remember that.
I think that was kind of before we started.
No, it was we had the podcast going.
Uh,
We enjoyed it, but you did not want to record it. And then we recorded the second one. You didn't want to record
I don't know that I had the equipment to record it.
Anyways, long story short, the purpose being
Peaches and cream corn from Ontario.
peaches and cream corn.
Cream.
Not cream corn. We're eating
Oh.
cream corn vodka?
Really good. That's why it's sweet.
Cream corn
Oh,
vodka.
yeah. That's
Huh.
good stuff.
Well, those Canadians will distill
Really?
And
anything.
peaches.
Well, it was
Peaches
good.
probably make it
That
sweet,
was
too.
that was.
We're squeezing the goodness out of it.
Oh yes, it was disturbingly
Turning
good.
it into the nectar of life.
Yeah, those are the two things that Canada has forced upon us. Their vodka and the Geneva Convention. Anyways, what was I saying? Memories.
Memories.
95.7, the radio. Things that you don't record or take pictures of, you just have them deep inside your brain and those feelings. I still feel very, very connected to that session. I remember it thoroughly. I can almost recount all of it as I did. Me and Enrique just waxed and waned about it all the way up here. I love that game, that session, but it's not recorded anywhere.
Mhm.
There's no pictures of us remembering it. Do you feel that sometimes you bring yourself out of a moment by trying to take pictures and remember and record it and video camera and all that mess like people do when they're about to eat, take pictures of their food, or do you don't think that takes away from it?
Only briefly, perhaps.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah.
It's like you're out there taking pictures of the Aurora Borealis and the eclipse. Is it better just to sit there and
I mean, if I was concentrating on flying a rocket ship back from the moon to Earth, I wouldn't maybe document it at that moment.
well, good because we didn't.
Because, I mean, if I'm just playing a game or taking a picture of food, I don't think it's going to destroy
Like
my evening.
special moments though.
Now, well, it depends on who all's involved and for what. Now, the special moments, that's a broad spectrum. What are we talking about? Your baby being born?
Well, I'm just
Take
saying.
a picture of that?
No, I'm saying.
People do.
Do you think that takes you out of the moment? Do you think that there is a point to where you can be so extreme about recording it, or just
Well,
being,
now you're saying, now you went to extreme.
I'm asking to extreme.
I
Is there-
think, yes, you can take it to an extreme. Yes, to an annoying extreme.
not annoying. I know you can be annoying, but I'm just saying. Is there
And
a
an
point?
extreme would make it annoying.
I think here's the thing.
Bruno's nodding. his head.
Bruno is agreeing
Bruno's
with
nodding.
everything that you say.
Saying-
So far, I don't like
Well,
it.
here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say to this. I think that what one would call extreme in our day and time is beyond extreme. I think the normal is extreme, but people just normalized it. And what I mean by that is this. Every single thing that people do, they put on Instagram and Facebook. That is ridiculous. Because here's the reason why. You try to have so many special moments that you then water down what's actually special. So when you go eat a meal and you take a picture of it, that's not special. When you take a picture of yourself in the mirror, it's not special. But I will say this. If you take a picture of your family 20 times, though your family is special, you have watered down the moment. So people have a tendency to say, oh, it doesn't take from the moment. But what they value more than anything is that moment of the picture and not what they were actually doing at the time. They can't remember what they were doing at the time, but they remember that picture. So I think that what one would call normal in our day and time is way beyond extreme. We're just oversaturated, but people don't realize that because it's just the normal. That's what I'll say about it. So as the person who has no Instagram at the moment and no Facebook, and I utilize these tools when I see fit without taking my time and energy, people just oversaturate it. That's my 10 cents. I'm done
Do
with
you
it.
have a thought on this?
Well, I've made many videos for family members who've passed away,
Of course.
and I gather the pictures from their lives.
Yes. Same.
And there's periods where nobody took pictures.
Yeah.
So there's gaps of
That's
10
true.
years.
That's true.
And you're like, what happened?
Mhm.
It left no trace whatsoever. And there's regrets there. You're like, oh, I wish I would have taken a picture because we went and did that trip or anything. So yes, we're taking too many pictures, but in the case of a convention like this, we're playing so many games. If I don't take pictures,
That's
I don't
true.
remember
That
what
is
I
true.
played.
Right.
But now going through my phone, oh yeah, I played this game with Chad and Jerry, and so I can remember. And for me, taking pictures is a tool.
But you're a very functional person. That makes perfect sense. I will say, as a person who has gone, my wife gets on to me because she'll say, we took this picture, and I go, where were we at? She's like, that's when we were in Italy. I was like, no, I don't remember that. She's like, yeah, remember we took this picture. I was like, oh yeah, don't remember that. And she's been getting on to me more now about taking pictures. I am taking more pictures now, memorializing things because A, I realize memory's not so good. I'm getting a little older. And B, I think I miss great opportunities. My brother's a photographer. I mean, he does it for a living. So I understand the need to it. But I think in everyday life, people, I think
everyday things, you don't need to document nonstop.
I think
This is my dinner. This is my breakfast. This is my lunch. This is my walk outside. This is me with the dog. This is my, I think also you're talking about the type of people that you have someone some people are sentimental and they want documentation of way more than someone perhaps like Bubba would. Bubba's not
No, I'm sentimental.
that prone to it.
No, I think I'm sentimental. I think my sentimentality derives from the association that I had that special moment with. For example, sitting around talking about that time that we podcasted, or for me, it was like when y'all were just starting out and y'all were talking about it with just IEU, and having those moments is special to me because it is unique to us. And I was privileged to be a part of that. To me, I like to recall that in that moment with the people that were there. And that's more powerful to me than having a picture of it. But I do get it. So other people are a little different.
But you might have someone like me that doesn't remember anything.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean,
but you're not going to remember anything anyway.
Yeah, but I will say this.
But that's why I got a picture.
No, but
You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'll say this. That moment, here's the thing to it. That moment that we don't have, that nobody recorded, nobody took a picture of, yes?
No.
And that's because, and I don't mean this in a bad way, that's the thing about special moments, is sometimes if you're not a person who appreciates the quality in the thing, you will miss moments that are truly special, but never come up to that level where you think it's special to 10 years later.
Yeah.
So you have to have the ability to look back and do that and look at it. And then also know what's special, what is special. I find what's special to me is these moments like this. So I meet a person.
Let me take a picture.
I met a person I hadn't met before. He's interesting. You know what I'm saying? He's having y'all experiences. You met Tom. Gaby didn't.
Well,
Enrique's his name.
here's the thing.
To me, that's special. That's a special moment.
I think like one shot, one picture. That's
Yes,
good.
that's good.
I don't need to
25.
and
Yeah, I'd
to
give
make
you
a
that.
reel out of it with
Yeah.
music and 15 shots. and-
Yeah.
I'll transition to my main point.
Yeah. So
Essentially
what's
is-
special?
Oh, that wasn't your main point?
Well,
no,
no.
that was not his main point.
No. That was just the kind of
was just a
segue,
little
hard
lead-in
merge
to
into
the main
this.
point.
Because this is a board game podcast.
It is.
I feel that people can get tied up in wanting to create memories so that they can document them. So it's like, I want to take this.
You're making false memories.
I saw this person and I want a picture with him. I'll take a picture of it. Or I want to do this thing. Yes. It's this thing of you want to be at a place and do this thing. Yeah. And I think that takes away from the moment. And so the reason I bring this up, because in terms of...
Can I say, are you saying that pretentiousness takes away from authenticity?
Yes.
I took the words right out of my mouth.
Sure that's what I said.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I did not say that, but I meant to say that. But yes, that's exactly it, is that you get so tied up in trying to create something that you never get to experience how special it is. It's like if you're hosting a game night and you're the one organizing it and making it happen, it's a different experience for you than the people that are doing it, that are actually engaging in the games and all these other things. But at the same time, your experience is different, and it can give you a level of satisfaction seeing other people experience something else special, that sticks with you longer than being a part of the game. For instance, today we played Great Western Legends, and it's a 6-player game, and I taught it, and I let everybody else play it, and I just kind of ran it. And everybody saw 6 people play a 2-hour-long or more board game that basically I'm sitting there just making sure people understand the rules and just watching them play. And about halfway through, I realized this is what I get on to my kids about watching people on YouTube play video games. I'm watching 6 grown adults play a game that they've already got down. I could get up and leave, but I'm enjoying watching the interactions between these people and how they're doing it. And I didn't take a picture of that game, which is the only game so far I've not documented. And it was because I was enjoying the story that was being told of Gaby being this outlaw type and Bubba being the...
I was particularly fond of the ladies.
Yes, and going to the cabaret, and Enrique being the ultimate lawman out shooting everybody, and Bubba being the incompetent, gambling-addicted lawman.
Oh, man, it was rough.
And then Chad being the hustler, and then Tim being Breaking Bad, and Betsy having a heart. It was this wonderful story that got told, and I'm sitting there for 2 hours just watching it going, yeah, I like this. I enjoyed this. And so my point is that a lot of times, and with other games I've played with other people at this con, I realized some people are more about the rules and the mechanics and this thing that they're moving around on the table rather than being present and actually enjoying the experience with the people and actually liking even what might be a very poor game. But
like
still,
White Castle.
I was not going to bring up White Castle. We just played White Castle with Joffrey and John. That I did not like White Castle at all, and I knew within like not even the first little round that had gone through, it's dice placement. I hate dice placement, but this was the iconology. Everything about it was just on me, and I sat there and I thought, thank God this is going to be quick. But the whole time I'm there with John, who I like. I'm there with Joffrey, who I like. And I'm talking to Caitlin, his soon-to-be wife, hopefully, and all this. And I'm like, I'm fine. I don't like the game. I'm fine just being here. I can stand this being here.
You left me out.
You were there, but you were sitting there irritated because you didn't want to play the game. So
I was not irritated. You were irritated.
You were irritated because the person next to you across the table you claimed smelled like a smoker.
Somebody was smelling it up.
But you have a head cold. You can't smell anything. Anyway, so I was kind of blocking out.
Smelled like burnt toast.
Listen, I'm blocking out your negative vibes. Since I got this tumor removed, I've been doing nothing but positive.
Really?
Yes, I've been using positive language.
That's because what you kept saying was, this game sucks.
No.
Shouting it repeatedly.
No. I said this.
And Jeff was all downcast. He's like, oh, man, I let y'all down.
I was joking. Jeff never lets me down. I was joking about it, but in a fun way of like, when this is over, we're going to get to play something good. So see, positive language, Gaby. Positive language.
It wasn't positive language. That was hidden language.
You were there.
See, Enrique
He's hiding it.
Enrique knows all about you. Enrique knows all about you.
Sake and hug your big body pillow.
I will drink my sake.
Sake. He keeps saying sake.
Enrique knows all about it.
I know. He keeps...
I would like
You're
to
wearing
know,
2 on your feet.
That's a good one.
I would like to know,
yes,
A, what Bruno thinks about that. B, I think that sometimes we value the contemplation of the memory that
Contemplation.
yeah, I mean, like in the future, we want to contemplate this memory and derive so much from it and suck the life out of it to somehow give us a life in the future, which is never great. But that sometimes it's okay to forget sometimes special moments. It's good to just remember that for as long as you can. I'm not trying to say you should ignore or not document, because you should, because that's unique for the future as well. And as a person who does a lot of slideshows with dead people, I understand that. But I mean, that's the way it goes.
Is that like your?
I do it on the side. I do it on the side.
That's Bruno's hobby.
But I like to see what Bruno thinks about that too.
Bruno's
Sometimes it's okay.
He sees dead people all the time.
I think sometimes we hype up this idea of I want to remember this special moment, and sometimes it's okay. It's okay to be in the moment and just forget it later on.
So, yeah, and sometimes I think maybe taking all those pictures and all those videos is making our memory atrophied.
Yeah,
because we're not using it as much because we're relying on the images.
Right.
I agree.
I think there's something to that, because think of how many things it sounds stupid to say think of what you don't remember, but there are large gaps of very important events that are either very fuzzy or that you just don't even recall anymore, that may have been quite pivotal in your life, but they don't ever pop into your mind. I think that these pictures or memorabilia, that's a thing that kind of brings it to mind. And that was my point, I think, is that with some of these games, I think it's very easy to get locked into what I have experienced in the past, where I'm more focused on the mechanics and what this is doing rather than the feel of it. And Jeff said something during our play of White Castle, which I was going to bring up. Well, we were joking about him about the theme, and I made the comment, "There's no theme here. I don't even know what we're doing." He's like, "Oh, I don't need a theme," jokingly, which I'm sure he does. Everybody needs some sort of a theme, but then there are people who just move cubes around, and I realize is that there is some connection to the memory of the game and the situation and the theme. Everything I remember about a board game is incredibly thematic. I can remember, I know I like Yokohama. There's no theme in Yokohama. I know I like it mechanically. There's no game of Yokohama that I can recall other than, I probably won it. But other games that are highly thematic, whether it be through the connection with the theme or the negotiation or the people that we've played, I can almost go from beginning to end of a game of that first game of Star Wars Rebellion that we played. I can almost tell you move by move of that game.
I remember the end.
I can tell you the whole thing of it.
Who won?
He did.
Me.
By a miracle. And so things of that nature that's super thematic, I think that like seeps into your brain. And I think that's really where.
Do you think that people who cannot appreciate the moment, so let me roll back just a little bit. I come to this board game convention. I'm a person who doesn't play board games like you do, and you and Gaby. But I derive a tremendous pleasure just walking through and seeing people play games. It is quite remarkable in our day and time for people who are random strangers to get together and interact. I just find that fascinating. But I think sometimes people self-sabotage a game because they focus so much on, am I enjoying this game rather than enjoying the people that I'm playing it with? And because I'm not enjoying the game, the whole moment is lost and is destroyed.
Right.
And so they self-sabotage because I'm not getting this one thing. So I'm going to leave the 90% of the enjoyment on the table.
And I have been that person in the past.
Yeah.
Whereas if a game didn't speak to me mechanically, it didn't matter what else was going on. And I think that something occurred the other evening where Gaby, being sick, was not able to make the John Company game that we were going to play. And so at the last minute, Enrique joined us. Now, Enrique has a faulty memory, and he thinks he has played John's Company. He is factually incorrect.
No. I'm pretty sure I have. It's been a long time.
You have never played this game.
I'm 100% positive.
I would bet you your kidney and my right adrenal gland that you ain't got. So, anyway.
And I will donate my kidney to you.
Soloed it. You have not played that game.
No, I have.
Okay, the Saki's talking too much. But either way, we walked into this 6-player game of John's Company, and we were late because we were eating dinner with Tom, and Tom's a talker, and Roy, he was going on about Star Wars Unlimited, which is fascinating, and Tom had some amazing.
Who talks more, Enrique, Tom or Jerry?
It's tough. It's tough. They both
I
talk.
bet they both held up around.
We're both insightful. We both enjoy a good slab of meat too. We both enjoy barbecue. Anyways, as we walked into this game, we were late, and the person Chad who was teaching it says, "I said, well, I'm apologizing right now." He says, "No, we're ready to go." And then he looked at Enrique. I said, "Enrique's going to take Gaby's spot." And he says, "Does he know how to play it?" And Enrique's like, "I'll be all right." And Enrique literally sat down at this game. There was no rules explained to him. And I looked over at him. I said, "Pretend like this is an RPG. This is the company, like East Indian Trading Company. You're your family, and you're trying to run a business. It's sort of a cooperative, kind of, but not really. And you want to do the best that you can for your family. And when it's your turn, we'll just say, okay, this is what's going on, and this is what you got to do, and this is what you got to think about."
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
He almost clutched it. Okay. At the very last, he tied me for third, and the other two guys were running away with it. But Enrique blew away people who play this game a whole lot more than he ever had, and he never touched the rule book or knew what was going on. He just thought, okay, so I'm trying to put my family in the best spot, and we should do this, and we got to be military. What's my job? Oh, I'm in charge of this. And he role-played it with no understanding whatsoever of what was going on, of what affected how any of the mechanics work, but he rolled it and was the guy through the game.
I think there was like 3 pinnacle points of where everyone was just arguing over me.
Yes, we fought with him. It was the company would have tanked if it wasn't for him. He became the prime minister at one point. He was in charge of the military for half the game. And it was an incredible thing where I
had power over the budget for one turn.
So 4 hours of this game, and I'm sitting here, and at about the 3-hour mark, the chairman, who is about done, makes a deal with Enrique saying, if you do this for me, the next round when I'm supposed to distribute the money, which is the most important part of the game, when I distribute the money, you just make all the decisions. You do what you want to do. And I said, no. He doesn't know. He doesn't. He says, no, that's the deal. Enrique took said deal. And so when it came time, he handed him the money and said, do whatever you think. And Enrique just goes, okay. And he managed that because he thought thematically, not going, well, if I put money here, what will happen? He wasn't thinking mechanically. He's like, well, are we about to start a war? Probably. Let's put some money here. Well, how much do you think? And he managed it based on no idea of the rules. Most people cannot handle that. They would have freaked out and gone, well, what does this do? What about this? What if I roll a D6 and blah, blah, how's this? No. He just went thematically. And that's my point. People get locked down in the games and going, what's the real? And they get nitpicky, and that sucks the marrow out of the joy of the game, whereas they can just roll into it and just enjoy what it was. And that was a prime example of what happened at that John Company game.
Yeah, but that game has a theme.
It does.
So many games have no theme.
I know. So these themeless games should be burned. That's the point of this. I say from here on out, I declare as somebody who has a strong opinion, if your game cannot be in some way, shape, or form objectively tied to the theme in some way, at best, it's okay. All right? Now, I feel the emails coming.
Well, didn't you say something about a game today? It was just a reimagining of a game that you already played?
Yes. So, all right. I'm just saying this because I know people are going to be like, what about Hansa Catonica? You're just moving cubes. No. All right. Hansa Catonica is about German merchants being mean, and sometimes they would move cubes around and be mean to each other. You feel like a German merchant when you play Hansa Teutonica, like, no, Fritz, this road is mine, and I'm to Guten Tag, and what I can't remember what's Hansa Teutonica theme.
I don't remember.
It's something like Germany. But it feels like you're just an angry German merchant going, this is my Wiener Schnitzers. And then you do it. That's what I'm saying. It's games that don't have a good theme, or at least one that's tied. And I'm looking at one that has a great theme right now, that D-Malker, which I desperately want to play again because I love that game. And Bruno is saying he wants to play with us. So there's our number 5. Because we're playing that tomorrow.
Gaby is completely opposite.
Did you feel that I was attacking him during
No, not at all.
Because I was.
What I'm interested in is
what's new.
What I'm interested in.
Whoa.
I am genuinely interested in how Gaby sees that.
He doesn't even remember what I said. He has no memory.
That's true.
No.
Gaby, I don't know how you play games thematically. You play them based on your feelings. You play them based on your interests. You play them based on, there you go, et cetera, et cetera. I wasn't saying that you are. I'm just throwing things out there.
We're basically saying you have a lot of feelings toward many games.
But I can't describe them, and I don't know why. So, for instance, White Castle today, within 3 moves, I was like, I don't like this game. Path to Civilization, we also played today. And I was like, I get this game.
Tom says that's one of the best games of 2023.
It was not mind-blowing, but I get it. And I think when something clicks in my brain and I see how this connects to this and this connects to, I don't need theme. I just need to see how this connects. In White Castle, I didn't see any connections. But Path to Civilization, everything interlocked very nicely.
Tom said
I played that also. The designer taught it to me, and I thought it was very pleasant.
Yeah, it's
it was like
game.
a 7 Wonders on steroids.
That's what Tom said. Tom says it was 7 Wonders 1.5.
So
But
I guess
we have discussed this before of the thematic games are the ones I think everybody remembers. They remember the moments. When there's a heavily thematic game, you remember the moments because when you make a decision and something works out that shouldn't have, or a dice roll, an exciting dice roll. But when you're playing viticulture, you don't get excited. When you're playing Yokohama, you don't get excited. And Jerry's right. You don't remember any, oh man, I nailed that viticulture 3 months ago. Nobody remembers that. But you remember when Princess Leia blew up the Death Star on her last roll of the game, or like RPGs especially. You remember almost every RPG because it tells a story. And the story is what you remember. Dry Euros don't tell a story.
Some of them
so there's
do.
nothing to remember.
Some of them do.
Right.
So I guess to make this not where it's simply based on, because what we're really talking about is media and how media is cultured to you. If it's a story, fiction, novel, blah, blah, movies, whatever, all the same. I guess my question becomes is there a moment where you have a game that within the first 3 minutes you go, doesn't connect, I don't like it. But then you decide, because of the potential, do I need to stick here for another 20 minutes and give it an honest-hearted effort that maybe I'll find that connection? Has that ever happened? A game that ever happened to you?
I don't think we've ever had
Very rarely.
Very rare. A game. So there's been games that we really liked, and we've gone back a hair, and there's games that we really, really disliked, and then kind of, okay, we just kind of hate it. There's never been one that's been like, we do not like this, and then it's like, oh, no, actually, we do. I don't think we've ever had that.
I'll say this for this reason. Because you guys have games that you play one time and you never touch again. Because they're like, that's great. And I'm not saying that it's not the game's fault. But I would submit maybe the calculation potential is not the game sometimes. Maybe it's the tact in which we take to play the games. Maybe it's the modus operandi, so to speak, of how you play games that pigeonhole that into, I didn't like it this time and it's not worth it. And you miss out opportunities of board games.
Like you have a bad play of it?
Yeah, it could be great. It could be awesome.
We've had that happen.
Yeah, I would say for like the most thematic games that I have enjoyed that are really fun are also incredibly big, complex, kind of rules heavy, at least to start. And if you don't play regularly, you're going to forget.
Right.
Star Wars Rebellion, we set it up the other day. Jerry's going through the rules, and it's like, it's too much. We need more time. What's the one we played where the aliens and we were running towards the thing, me and you, and I made it to the elevator and you didn't?
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
You closed
Lockdown.
the elevator on me.
Nemesis Lockdown. Amazing game. I remember that, and I don't remember anything. But it's huge, and there's tons of pieces. It's very rare that, I don't know, very rare. I don't know how many games there are like Great Western Trail. No, not that one. Western Legends, the one we played today.
Yeah.
That is kind of thematic, kind of sandboxy. Zaya, Legends of a Drift System. You can do that. They tell the story, and you can, not that there's a story throughout, but the moves you make tell the story as the game progresses. Western Legends is real simple. And I think they need more games like that. But most thematic games are pretty heavy,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
But you still like them, don't you?
Yes.
Good news. There's a great, very large mega game taking place Sunday that you're welcome to come make memories with us. That you just described, that those are the ones that you really like.
But that's a different thing.
It's not.
I'm so unself-assured in Denver Wolves.
Denver Wolves. My vice president is here. My vice president is here.
The Wolves don't stand a chance.
I have heard. So you played that? Are you as a non-gamer as much as you guys play?
Mega game.
So honestly, how many times have you played the game before then?
Zero.
No.
That was it.
Here's
So
why.
was that like the
I
penultimate?
thought I wasn't gonna go. I was like, "What? 6 hours long? I don't have that time to
Yeah.
waste." And I'm like, "Oh, why not?"
Yeah.
And I went. Jerry was there. Enrique was there. Gaby was half there. But it was amazing because it was role play. You're swimming in the theme. And you got to be that character, and that created memories.
Yes.
I will never forget about that general and his incompetence. It's like, oh my God. No, that was such a great day.
I'll never forget people coming up to me and saying, "Your vice president is obviously a traitor." I'm like, "Bruno's good." They're like, "No, you need to do something." I go to Bruno. I was like, "All right, Bruno, you've got to be in the brig just briefly because we've got to prove these people that you're not a traitor, and I'll figure something out." And then Gaby comes walking back in to the game, who is the Secretary of State. And I go, "Gaby, listen, I got a mission for you. You have to prove that Bruno is not a traitor or they're going to execute him. You need to go figure this out and come back to me and tell me." And Gaby takes off. And then one of the council members says, "What's going to happen?" I said, "They're going to kill the vice president because there's no way Gaby said, this is not going to work. This is not going to work out. I don't know what we're going to do. We're about to be in trouble. But I can't not do something because if I stop them, they're going to think I'm a traitor and we're all in trouble." And Gaby comes back and says, "No, he's not. He's good. He's good." And I'm like, "You sure? He's good." And I went and said, "My Secretary of State says he's good." And they were like, they looked at Gaby. And for some reason, they all went, "Okay."
He's trusted.
It's like, yeah, he's qualified.
face.
And I remember later at the time thinking, I never really inquired of him of what did you find out that led you to believe that Bruno was good? I think Gaby just was, I have a hunch.
I feel it in my heart.
Felt it in my heart. Felt it in my heart. He's good.
How you
I
play
went
games
with
right
my
there.
soul.
That's
Yes.
right. It was speaking to me.
Yes, that the general was
They were
just,
very anti-Bruno for some reason.
they
They're very
wouldn't talk
sad.
about him. They would not talk about him.
I still remember one of the guys yelling at the war table. It's like, "We gotta run! We gotta retreat! Screw these guys! Screw everyone!"
Yes.
I don't know what shit
And
that
why
was.
did you do that?
No.
No, that's...
When finally that poor guy ran his test machine on me to know if I was a wolf, and it was negative.
Yeah, that was very...
That guy's poor face just almost melted. He was like, "We found." Oh no!
I think for me, for Den of Wolves, it's just too. Yes, I did play it and enjoy it the second half, but it's too just. It's completely wide open. Whereas, like the Star Wars RPG, we have this. We're doing this, Jerry or whoever the game master is like. Okay, this is what we're doing. What are y'all going to do in this situation?
Well,
It's like situational for that moment.
But that's my point, though. I don't think Den of Wolves is wide open at all. I think in the long run, it's actually quite tighter because you have a role to play and you have one job. You're to do that job. Yes, there is a bigger tapestry that you're a part of. But the reason you feel like it is just what I brought back about this John Company experience that Enrique had. You're trying to figure out stuff that you have no business knowing. You don't need to know. It doesn't affect you. You're worried about what 30 other people are doing. Don't. Focus on what...
My Secretary of State was very nebulous.
Well, I'm just saying. Focus on...
very
But
nebulous.
yet you played a highly key role because you inserted yourself into an important position. And so my point being is, if you're not so worried about what other people are doing and focused on your own role and what you're doing and not worried about, well, how does this work? Don't worry about how that works. Mind your lane, do your thing, and just play that role, and it will all come together. It works when everybody falls into line and just acts out that role. I think that that's the case, rather than being worried about the rules and what about this and what about that. No, just do your thing. And I think that's where you get the memories and the joy and the experiences from.
I think sometimes you should just get lost in the moment.
Right.
And when you play that kind of game, it requires that to give the full, just to get everything.
I think I need anxiety pills to kick in before I can do that.
How to get lost in. See, you know what? That's the odd thing, because me and my wife and I were talking about this the other day.
About how you need anxiety pills?
Yeah, right.
I'm on them.
She always says, I'm very controlled.
What are they?
That's what he said. He throw it out there. I'm very controlled in life, but when I want to get lost in a moment, I'll get lost in a moment, and I'll get completely lost in it and just love doing it. And I think sometimes, and I love that I can do that. I don't do it often, but I think being at BGG gives me an opportunity to do that. I've been working when I shouldn't be, but yeah, I think that I'm amazed that when people play and y'all play games like Den of Wolves and I hear about it. I've heard this story 3 times. And I still enjoy hearing it every time I hear it.
Well, I think, of course, we were going from taking pictures and how, if that fits into everything.
Yeah, it's because I was trying to slide you in.
But it's like,
I'm trying to get to the point where I can really deeply
but
trip.
I think it is, I think it kind of goes towards each individual's mental state.
Yeah.
If you're an anxious person where you think, and it's not, I know this, but it's like, I'm just overthinking everything and all this stuff. And I ruin my own experience.
Right.
Because I'm not letting myself experience it. I'm just focused on the minutia or what might or might not happen that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yes. Self-sabotage.
As an everyday life. So it kind of goes into certain situations like
I got you.
the Den of Wolves
Which
experience.
would be a great vehicle for which to do such a thing, because it's not real life.
Right.
It's just a game. And plus the fact that literally 1/3 of the people there will be board game snobs. There will be people who are listeners and people who have listened to this podcast that already know you, from Chad to Tim to Betsy to Jason to Bruno to Bubba to Enrique.
So long.
Legitimately.
It's so long.
It's so long. How long to create a memory? I'm just saying, why does it matter if it's a great way to guilt trip him? That's why I brought Bruno in here, to guilt trip Gaby and disdain for Den of Wolves.
I will say, I told the guy this the other day, when you have a passion, if you can find that passion, something that brings you passion, don't let anything stop you from doing it. And so I derive a tremendous degree of...
killing people.
I know, right?
what if your passion is being a really jerk?
So I like it the other day, y'all had your 300th episode, and I was sitting there I have very little to do with your podcast, and you do not need my approval or pride.
You're a cultural,
what it is.
Yes, we've run stuff by you to make sure this doesn't offend anybody.
But I'm very encouraged and just very happy and just satiated in my heart when I see that y'all doing something that derives passion, and I've enjoyed it. And even being at BGG, you see that, and you had a comment.
Well, to close the loop
There you are.
on this, is that we didn't take any pictures of that Den of Wolves day, but the Den of Wolves organizers did.
Oh,
and
see?
I had to contact them and beg them to send me the pictures.
See?
And that is the only souvenir we have, is you on the red phone and me looking support.
Right.
Yes.
I need that picture desperately. I didn't know. I forgot about that.
Which is the best pictures right there. That's good.
So they had a picture one year of me drinking from my flask that I snuck into the game as the president. Yeah.
And that's why you have photographers right there. That's it.
There you go.
That's
There
it
you
right
go.
there. Solves all problems.
Yeah. And you should have a presidential
So,
photographer.
well, I mean, that we're done with the picture taking thing, but it could help to have someone, okay, this is your job, so I can focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Like a wedding.
It's like a wedding.
Well, then
No
during the
different.
Den of Wolves, we'll give you a job. We'll make sure your job's very specific. This is your job. Do your thing.
It would be nice if they had people come around, though, take pictures of BGG and people here playing it. That would be nice. That'd be a good idea.
I mean, but when everybody's got their camera on their phone, it's just,
Yeah, but camera
but see,
phones
you're
rob us of. Everybody's always
it
taking
robs you of
pictures.
being in the moment, I think.
and I'm not good at taking pictures.
That game's way too busy. You don't have time to take
pictures on it.
You're
I've seen people play it.
immersed in the
Yes,
game.
you're
You're not
involved.
sitting down. You're running around.
Yeah.
It's great.
You've committed.
Exercise, weight loss. It's really soothing.
Good mental health aid.
All right.
I've seen a lot of
Oh,
benefits.
you're trying to close us out?
Any
think
final
so.
thoughts?
Yeah,
think
Bruno. What suggestions do you have for? Do you have any recommendations in connection with anything like what's that?
What we gotta try.
100,000 yards of garbage.
What we got to try.
Anything interesting that you have found here lately?
Acres of rubbish on
Yeah,
sporadically
we're
bored.
still in that from sporadically bored.
Basically, like anything you want to recommend.
Anything?
Game, movies, books.
Shout out to
We call
Dan.
Oh.
it few
Okay.
meters
TV show.
of garbage. Yeah.
TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching Dark Matter.
Oh, a friend of mine read the book.
with
He said it's
Jennifer
good.
Connelly.
Oh, there you go, Jerry.
I have deep feelings
Very
about
good.
Jennifer.
Okay. Well, next time you see her, notice that she's always looking at the camera in a specific
She
angle.
does, yes,
Because she's got a crooked nose.
She does have a crooked.
Poor thing.
Really?
Yeah, she's still gorgeous. What? Yes. But the
Wow.
show is excellent. I highly recommend it.
Interesting. Duly noted.
Oh, J-Con. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she does. She's
He called her J-
timeless.
did he say
She's
J-Con?
ageless.
J-Con,
Timeless.
yeah.
You call it there
You don't.
J-Con?
It's gorgeous.
Like J. Cole, if you call it J-Con?
If I had to.
Wow.
No, we don't rank. No, we're not going there.
Don't do
Please
that.
don't.
Don't do
Please
that.
don't.
I'm just saying.
Your wife is here.
Absolutely. Honey, I love you. She'll
There you
listen to
go.
this
Wife is
podcast.
here.
She's from Dice Tower, man. Always. But yeah, Jennifer Connelly.
Feel you?
Mm-hmm.
Feel you?
Easy.
But I was agreeing.
Easy.
I was agreeing with Bruno.
Bubba, what have you been up to that you would like to
You know what?
recommend?
You know what? I wouldn't like to recommend something. I would like to know what games have a siege mechanism that one should play that people find enthralling.
A siege,
A siege
mechanism.
mechanism. I'm very interested in some reason. It has tickled my
What's
fancy.
that main game? It's like, I think it's like orcs and stuff attacking a castle, but it's a complete siege game.
I would like to play one that I find I am so invested in. I have one a solo. I'm going to play solo tonight, but I want to I need to know if there's others that are nice to have. So
Orléans.
what?
No. Sorry. Trois.
Trois?
We
Yes.
Trois?
play Trois
Like
and long.
Trois?
It's very,
French? Trois?
Un Trois.
Yeah,
but
Trois.
it's not Troyes. They spell it Troyes, but it's
There's trois.
there is actually a
Trois. Oh, I get that one.
a line of games. I used to have them. Now we'll rattle them off here. Called the States of Siege
Okay.
series. They were old Victory Point game war games. One of them, probably the apex of them, was called Dawn of the Zeds. They themed it into a zombie game. But they have Zulu on the Ramparts about Rorke's Drift
Yeah.
back in the late 1800s. Cruel Necessity, the Ottoman Sunset. It's a whole line of games where basically it's kind of like what Enrique would call a MOBA. Is that what that's called? Where there's swarms of things coming at you and you're fighting them. Is that what I'm thinking?
No. Swarm games, basically.
Okay.
Just like it's just like a bunch of enemies
Coming at you. Yeah.
in waves.
Bunch of
It's a
enemies.
swarm game. Is
Right. But like you think tower defense. And so like
Tower defense, yes.
So like Zulu on the Ramparts based on Rorke's Drift, very famous 124th Infantry defending this one little church and small hospital out in the middle of nowhere against 4,000 Zulus. And so during the game, you're there and things are coming at you and you're having to roll dice and defend. So it's a solo game.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's tons of games like that have a siege mechanism. Also, what was the
Cloudspire.
Cloudspire? There's an old one. Was it like Stronghold? Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of. Stronghold or something like
Yeah,
that.
there is one called
That's the one I was thinking
Stronghold
of.
that is a I had never played that, but they came out with a second edition not a while back. But yeah, there's tons of games that have a siege mechanism, but that Victory Point games are older ones.
Yeah.
And I think I probably have them put up somewhere. I used to have a bunch of them.
Recently, The Great Wall.
The Great Wall, yes, that's another one. I have not got to play
Getting
that.
good reviews.
I haven't got to play that one. But yeah,
Hmm.
Great Wall is also another one.
For some reason, you guys are good people to
Terrible
ask.
Matt Damon movie, in my opinion, with the aliens attacking the Great Wall.
Was it aliens? I thought it was dragons.
You need to watch
Were
it.
they alien
Just
dragons?
watch it. Alien dragon things, whatever. Watch it. It's worth it just for Matt Damon and Pedro and a
What if
Pascal.
Matthew McConaughey shows up?
If there were
Hey.
dragons,
Hey, Matthew
I'm
McConaughey.
just-
I heard there was.
Matthew McConaughey could play in any movie. Everybody should show up.
that rain of fire is hot. We can do this.
Matthew McConaughey is just my guy. Not just because he's from Texas, but he's super cool.
We could do this.
I've met him a couple times. That's a lie. I've never met him.
We could do this easy.
Yeah,
we could do this real easy. that line lives rent free in my brain. That somebody wrote that, and I'm like, there's that saying, "Do this the easy way or the hard way." But we need you to put a spin on it, Matthew. And say, "I got it. Just turn the camera off. Give me my vest. Wears no shirt this entire film. Or
sleeves.
Nothing.
And
just says, we can do this easy. We can do this real easy.
We can do this easy, or we can do it real easy.
And it's like they just that's take one. We're good. Cut it. Let's go. And when you fight the dragon, you're gonna fight with an axe and jump at it. And he did.
And die immediately.
And it's like jump at it with an axe. And I'm like, well, yeah.
I tell you a line along those lines I like that I only heard a couple times, and it was in the TV show The Mandalorian.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
My favorite, one of my favorite Western ones was in Justified, and nobody ever repeats this. I don't ever remember anybody else talking about this scene, but there's a scene, Timothy Oliphant in the Justified series, he has his Glock, and he's knocks somebody down and he's threatening him, and he has his Glock out and he kicks ejects one of the shells out and catches it and just throws it at the guy and it hits the guy in the chest. He says, "Next one's coming a little bit faster." And I just love that line. It's like nobody talks about that. It's like, that's a great line. It's like that next one's coming a little bit faster. Like, yes, there were so many good lines in that one.
So thank God to beautiful and wonderful writers.
My dad, I'll tell this story. My dad had one of the best lines ever. He told my brother-in-law, who was not my brother-in-law at the time, this guy that was dating my sister. They were going through some issues, all this and that. And my dad, who was an Army drill sergeant, was a sniper in Vietnam. He had never met this guy. My sister's up in Denver. We go up there and visit him. And he's joking with dad, meeting the guy. And the guy's, just talking back and forth. And the guy said, is meeting my father for the first time, and said, it's nice to meet you. And my dad said, "No, I've seen you before." He says, "You have?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "You look different through a scope." That was and years later, this guy goes on to marry my sister. They've been married for years. He says, "I remember your dad telling me that." And he says, "I thought he was joking at the time." He says, "But then I realized he probably wasn't." I still think about that. We would crack up about that all the time. But, there's tons of good lines.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Board Game Snobs.
Smack it.
Coming to you from BGG Spring.
We thank Bruno coming all the way from
Mr.
Canada, bringing the vodka.
Nice to be here.
And
special
the
privilege and honor.
It's very nice.
Very nice.
Until
Very nice.
The next episode, I'm Gaby.
This Jerry.
This Bubba.
Bruno.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.